We're one game over 500 going into the second half of the season. I see clear blue skies. I'm thinking we're going to make the playoffs. We're going to have an impact. And then yesterday happens. And I'm not blaming this on Dolan, but there has to be something just wrong at Madison Square Garden. Can any of you imagine Derek Jeter being stopped entering Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
Magic Johnson being stopped entering the Staples Center?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, the GOAT, don't hate.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan being stopped entering the United Center? WTF?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aquaman being stopped entering the ocean. I mean, like, it's unbelievable. The Pope at the Vatican. What's the analogy?
You stole that from me, Max.
Right.
Did I?
Yeah.
No, I
Pope
didn't.
at the Vatican. That was coming.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
My
Why
fault.
you
I said it
stealing
in
my
the first-
stuff?
I said it in the first hour. I can't retroactively bite. Stop
Right.
that. It's an Spike,
I got
but
the
this
powers, though, man. I got the powers.
Spike, this is what I'm saying. There's a poem about the Holocaust. First they came for the socialists, and I didn't say anything. Then they came, and then eventually they came for me, and there was no one left to speak. They already came for you. They came for you already, Spike, and you're still riding with them. They come from They came for Oakley. They came for you, still riding with them, making excuses for them.
The Trinity.
They came for Patrick, the Holy Trinity of the Knicks of the last 40 years. Boy, John Starks better watch his back.
Well, I will say this. Listen, on a more playful level, all the people that Spike Lee mentioned, all of them won championships. We're still waiting for ours. It's been since 1973. Jeter, Jordan, guys like that, they won chips. That wasn't the case with Ewing. But on a more serious level, he means that much to Madison Square Garden. He should mean that much to New Yorkers. The only level of credibility we've had pretty much over the last 2 decades, or the last 3 decades, has been because of Patrick Ewing. And on a more serious note, where Spike doesn't blame, you don't blame James Dolan, I do. And here's why. Because we ain't talking about the Knicks. We're talking about Madison Square Garden. We're talking about personnel there. They know who Patrick Ewing is. They knew who Spike Lee was and is. They knew who Charles Oakley was and is. The common denominator where you're alluding to a lack of respect and a lack of appreciation emanates from that man right there, James Dolan. And that's where I have the problem. If you held folks in high regard and you celebrated with a level of appreciation these individuals for what they meant to the franchise, everyone would march lockstep and nobody would give any problems. Think about that for a second here. There's no way enough. We can go back to what happened to you, Spike. Don't tell me, and even you acknowledge, that was the security personnel there. They didn't want to bother you. They were compelled to do so.
Those are good dudes. Security at MSG, those are good dudes. They've been there for years.
And I like to say this. There was 2 brothers.
Yeah.
And they were in a jam.
Yeah.
They didn't want to
do that.
They didn't want to escort me out the garden.
Of course not.
Around the corner to come back in, knowing that I couldn't come back in because my ticket had been scanned already. They didn't want to do that. And I didn't want to do anything to get those brothers to lose their job. So it was a tight jam.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not even making jokes, Spike. It doesn't take 2 security guards to walk Spike Lee out of the garden. If they're like, even that is like a show of force. That's like, I don't get it.
Max, let me give you a couple of tidbits and notes here. I remember when the Jonathan Sopranowicz of the world, who used to work for the New York Knicks, came rushing over because there was something that was going on with Oakley and stuff like that at the time. And I was at the Garden. And I'm standing in the tunnel, and he runs over towards me. You can't stand there. You can't stand there. Reporters before games walk around stuff like that. But somehow, some way, you know what? At the Garden, you got to get the hell out of there. You had players that are scared to communicate. Why? Because they feel like somebody might have access to their phone, their text messages, or who they're receiving phone calls from. This is the environment that existed at Madison Square Garden. I'm not talking about the Knicks. I'm talking about inside Madison Square Garden. It doesn't matter what's going on there. This is the level of just being petrified that people have had there in recent memory. There's one common denominator,
Dolan.
and that's James Dolan.
And Spike, Stephen A. brought it up. You brought it up off the top. People are starting to feel good. This is why I'm saying I'm never coming back to the Knicks as long as Dolan owns the team. Even when he seems to get out of his own way, finally, and put in a regime, and he's put in a lot of them, and this one seems to work right away. They've done an outstanding job. The culture's healthy. And all of a sudden,
my mindset, we're in the middle of a pandemic. 500,000 Americans, fathers, mothers, sisters, relatives, friends are no longer here. So my mindset is, look, that stuff that happened before, I'm peace and love, trying to move forward. The last thing I wanted to do was be involved somehow with Dolan again. And it happened. It wasn't my fault. Now the whole thing is happening again. I thought this story would be dead between me and Dolan.
It's like Al
Now
Pacino.
Patrick added to me and Oakley.
It's like Al Pacino and The Godfather. They keep bringing me back. They keep bringing me back. Listen, the reason why I'm protective of the Knicks right now is because I think Leon Rose, Worldwide William Wesley, Scott Perry, Tom Thibodeau have done an outstanding job of getting you to focus on what the Knicks are doing. They're competitive almost every night. They fight, they scratch, they claw, and they're winning just as much as they're losing. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.